Jonas froze in place. Logic screamed at him to run, but his body moved toward the voice as if pulled by an invisible chain, step by step, slow and dreamlike. From a distance, Lydia saw it happen. Her blood turned to ice. She opened her mouth to scream, but the blaring horns, pounding drums, and warped chanting of the crowd drowned her voice completely. Jonas answered with a trembling whisper, "Mom." And the moment the word left his lips, the world tore apart. In an instant, Jonas's eyes bulged wide, his body convulsed, hands clutching his throat as black, foamy blood bubbled from the corners of his mouth. His scream was strangled into a wet, guttural rasp. He trembled violently, then collapsed, swallowed whole by the dense, shifting crowd. When Lydia finally pushed through to where he'd been, there was nothing left except an old embroidered handkerchief, purple and stained with thick, dark marks. The crowd marched on silently, blank masks facing forward, not a single head turning back. Through the echo of drums and endless footsteps, the old man's rasping voice rose again, hoarse, like it came from a decaying throat. "If you've joined this festival, remember the rules, forget them, and you'll never leave." Lydia clenched her fists, her fingers trembling. She understood. One wrong step, one lost beat, and her fate would be no different from Victor's or Jonas's. Part 5. The Horror Inside House Number 31. The main street of Seoul Hollowveil town glowed dimly under rows of flickering pumpkin lanterns. The scent of melting wax and incense clung to the air, thick as fog. Figures in costumes drifted past, their faces half-lit, half-shadowed, like ghosts crossing between worlds. Lydia walked among them, her heart tight and heavy. The image of Jonas being torn from reality right before her eyes replayed endlessly in her mind, a shattered film loop. Each step she took now felt heavier, trembling with fear and grief. "Hannah!" she called out, her voice raw and broken from terror. Only the wind answered, whistling through cracks in shuttered doors, mingling with faint, eerie laughter that seemed to echo from another world. Then, from the far end of the street, a figure came running toward her. It was Hannah. Her face was pale, breath ragged, eyes wide and unfocused, as if she'd seen something beyond comprehension. "Run! Just run!" Hannah screamed, her freezing hand grabbing Lydia's wrist, dragging her into the crowd. The two girls sprinted past shuttered houses, all dark, as if abandoned long ago. Only one place glowed faintly, a weathered gray wooden door slightly open, with candlelight flickering inside. With no other choice, Hannah pulled Lydia inside and slammed the door shut behind them. Darkness devoured them instantly. Only a few black candles on an altar flickered weakly, casting ghostly light across the room. Hannah collapsed onto the cold floor, shoulders shaking violently. Hugging herself, she stammered through trembling breaths. "Something was behind me. It followed me the whole way. I heard its footsteps, right next to mine. But when I turned around, there was no one there, only a shadow, long and thin. It almost touched my leg." Her voice trailed off into the suffocating silence, swallowed by the decaying walls around them. Lydia stared at her friend, heart constricting with dread. She realized the thing chasing Hannah wasn't human, and the festival outside might not be a celebration at all, but a dark ritual filled with sinister secrets. The two stepped deeper into the house. The air grew heavier, the flickering candlelight painting damp, dusty walls in sickly shades. Along the hallway, a row of portraits hung high. Lydia looked up, and her breath caught in her throat. On the faded canvas was Victor's face, eyes hollow, staring like bottomless pits. Next to him, Jonas, his smile twisted and grotesque, stretched unnaturally like a puppet's grimace. Their two missing friends now existed here, imprisoned forever within soulless portraits. Hannah stumbled back, gasping, nearly falling. Lydia caught her trembling hand, but that trembling only deepened the terror crawling through her chest. Then, a faint sound. Something clattered onto the cold tile floor, coming from the end of the hallway. Lydia spun around, heart pounding in her ears. The candlelight wavered, spilling through a crack in the door and onto the floor, where something familiar lay. Lydia bent down and picked it up. It was a bracelet with a pale blue gemstone, Hannah's birthday gift, the one she always wore on her wrist. Lydia had seen it earlier, right before they were separated in the square. Her body went cold. She turned to Hannah beside her, her voice shaking. "Hannah, have you ever been inside this house before?" Hannah's eyes flickered with something indescribable. Her lips quivered into an uneasy smile. "No, Lydia, I haven't." Lydia tightened her grip on the bracelet, her gaze growing cold. "But all this time, you never once asked where Jonas is." At that moment, Hannah's forced smile froze. For a split second, her eyes twisted, reflecting a warped, inhuman gleam. Then her voice dropped, thick and distorted, like it was leaking through a rotting throat. "You're smarter than the others, Lydia." Instinct kicked in. Lydia stumbled backward, her heart pounding like it would burst. Hannah slowly lifted her head. Her pale skin cracked open, veins darkening underneath. The corners of her mouth tore wide, stretching all the way to her ears, revealing rows of blood-stained teeth. "You came here to replace them, Lydia. All we need is one nod, just a little trust. That's enough." In panic, Lydia hurled the bracelet straight into the imposter's face and bolted toward the room where the noise had come from. The door flew open, candlelight spilling out, and the sight inside froze her blood solid. In the narrow room, the real Hannah lay sprawled on the cold tiles. Her eyes were wide open, mouth agape in an eternal silent scream. Her neck was twisted 180 degrees, grotesquely bent. Her fingers clawed at the floor, leaving deep, bloody scratches in the stone. Lydia gasped, knees buckling beneath her, but raw survival instinct flared, forcing her up and into motion. She sprinted for the hallway as the distorted laughter of the fake Hannah echoed behind her, mingling with whispers seeping through the rotted walls. "Lydia, Lydia, Lydia." The sound followed her, mournful and endless, clinging like a curse. She tore down the pitch-black corridor, shadows gliding along the walls, watching. But the terror didn't stop there. Footsteps pounded behind her, heavy, distorted, frantic. A freezing breath brushed the back of her neck, raising every hair on her body. Then, that rasping voice came, echoing from the depths of the decaying house. "Lydia, you know, don't you? It was me who tricked the real Hannah into coming here. I made her. Break rule number 5. Lydia's body went numb. The words of the rules flashed before her eyes, etched deep into her mind. Do not trust anything once you step inside house number 31 on Main Street. Now she understood. The Hannah beside her all along was no friend, but a dark entity born from the house itself. She ran, glancing back, and froze at the sight. The fake Hannah's face was grotesquely warped. Her eye sockets were hollow, oozing with thick black fluid. her mouth stretched in an impossible grin, sharp as razors. Chunks of skin sagged from her cheeks, exposing raw, twitching flesh beneath, grinning with her. Don't trust anything. But you did. You believed. You walked in here with me. And now... The creature's laughter exploded through the house, echoing in every wall, ceiling, and cracked tile, as if the entire house itself was laughing. Lydia bolted toward the stairs, panic twisting every breath. The creature's footsteps followed, too fast, too unnatural, like a shadow glued to her. She raced through the hallway, doors on both sides creaking open on their own, revealing pitch-black voids. From inside, hundreds of gray, lifeless hands reached out, waving, beckoning her closer. Don't trust anything. Don't trust. Lydia bit her lip until blood filled her mouth, using the pain to stay conscious. Just as the fake Hannah lunged, Lydia threw herself through a shattered window, glass slicing deep into her arm. The sting of pain and the smell of blood snapped her mind awake. She hit the damp ground outside with a thud. Behind her, the creature screamed, a distorted, furious howl. No, you can't escape. Its shadow writhed violently behind the doorway, but couldn't cross the threshold. The invisible boundary of house number 31 held it back. Lydia lay there, gasping, sweat and blood but mixing on her face. Under the faint moonlight, she saw it clearly. The fake Hannah's body trapped in the doorway, dissolving into ash, leaving behind nothing but that warped, echoing laughter, fading into the night.